Hi, this is Sapni Bharti, and we are here in Den Haag, in Netherlands, at the Cloud Foundry Summit. And today we have with us the Queen of the Cloud, Kearns. First of all, thanks for having me here, and thanks for being on the show. So let's talk about your keynote yesterday. There were some, first of all, good news is a lot of things are changing around Cloud Foundry in a very positive.
Yes.
Which I don't know if we thought about those things 2 years ago, it would be called fiction, you know? But now things are happening in a positive direction. So let's start to break down your keynote. What was the core theme of your keynote, the caterpillar versus kayak, or building the future?
Yeah. Well, the caterpillar and the kayaker were my way of telling the analogy of when we think about digital transformation, you can think of yourself as a caterpillar where you're going to weave a cocoon, disappear for a couple of weeks, and then emerge transformed. And I think we often tell ourselves, especially in technology, that that's how things work. We're going to do this for a little bit. We're going to disappear. Ta-da! Magic. And the point of it was more to think of ourselves as whitewater kayakers, where you're constantly having to be alert and change and adjust. The waters are constantly moving underneath you. And if you apply that analogy to technologies, think about technology around us, particularly in cloud and cloud native and open source right now. How fast are things changing? It's bananas, right? There's constantly new evolutions of technology. We're basing, we talked on the stage yesterday about Kubernetes and the role that it has to really become the industry standard in terms of the infrastructure layer, right? And if you think about it in terms of that way, Kubernetes wasn't here 5 years ago. So a lot of things are new, a lot of things are happening, and the world is moving quickly. And this isn't going to slow down. We're not going to all of a sudden hit 2020. I'm like, okay, we're here, we're good. We're all changed, tech's good, we're just going to stop for a while. It's just going to continue to evolve. And so as a company, what's it's going to be hard for me to do is think about how am I constantly going to adapt to that change? How am I constantly, as a kayaker, navigate those rapids in a way that I'm still keeping my eye on the horizon and what I'm trying to solve for my business, but I'm still navigating things as they come through. And the goal of this isn't to say that there is an ultimate outcome where we're all going to achieve. It's more of a new state of being. The constant adaptation, the constant evolution, the constant learning, the continuous learning aspect. And yes, that applies to companies that are digitally transforming, but I think it also applies to us as an open source software community. How are we evolving? How are we adapting? And how are we constantly thinking about how changes in communities and ecosystems and technologies impacts us?
You mentioned digital transformation. If you look at digital transformation, we have been hearing this word for a very long time.
Yes.
Is it a destination or a journey?
It is a journey. It's definitely not a destination. You're never going to get to the end of that and be like, we're good, we're done. It is a new way of thinking about not just technology, but it's a new way of thinking about how your business works. If your goals out of it are to be more innovative, be more responsive to customer needs and changing needs in the market, and fail faster. If that is your goal, which that's essentially what digital transformation is, that's a new way of being. That isn't a one-time sprint. And so, but the work to get there is super hard. It really requires a fundamental shift in the way that you think about your organization, your communication patterns, internally and with your customers, and the way you adopt and adapt to new ideas and new technologies.
One of the new technologies companies are adopting is Kubernetes, but Kubernetes is not known to be very easy to use.
Correct.
So what role does Cloud Foundry play in helping these developers to quickly move to these new technologies?
Well, I think Cloud Foundry has done one thing continuously well for the last 8 years. Cloud Foundry provides the best developer experience, the best. And that's something that, one, we should both be proud of, but think about in terms of the service we're hoping to provide, which is really around that developer experience. And if you think about it with that lens, the infrastructure pieces, the technology that supports that outcome are going to necessarily change and evolve. It has to. And for us, our goal is to continue to provide that experience while adapting and adopting these additionally emerging technologies, particularly in open source, to solve that goal. And Kubernetes is just the latest in a long line of those, starting back with, we were one of the earliest adopters of Open Container Initiative, but also projects like Envoy, and more recently you saw on the main stage today, Istio. So you're starting to see us really adopt those open source technologies as part of the integrated platform experience while still giving users that great developer experience.
For the community, it doesn't matter what tool and technology is. What matters is how you solve the problem of a developer.
Exactly. If I am an enterprise, what is my goal? To try out new technologies? No, my goal is to use technology to digitize my business. It's to allow my developers to write more software that meets my business needs faster. That's my goal.
Right.
And we need to elevate the conversation for businesses to that business outcome and that business value. If you're worried about what type of container technology you're using or how the infrastructure is working, then I think you're focusing on the wrong problems.
Let's just move from yesterday to today. There was a big announcement today with IBM.
Was it big? I don't know.
Okay. If it's not big on your scale, that's fine. You're the queen of the cloud, so
No, it was a big announcement. I was really excited to see that on stage.
So what do you think about it? It's
I
a
think
big sea
it's
change.
wonderful. For Summit to see change for me, it looks a lot more inevitable. I understand how the technology works. I understand where all of these pieces fit in the larger scheme. So if you look at this in a bigger level, what are we all solving for? We're solving for those outcomes. As we talk about containers or container schedulers, what we're talking about are pieces of a larger puzzle. And if you look at it through that lens, well, of course, a lot of the integration, the interoperability, the consolidation is inevitable as these solutions start to come together, and particularly open source technologies are really chosen by the industry at large.
VMware acquired Heptio, and they are, I think, among the Bitnami, and they are among the top 3 contributors of Kubernetes now.
Yes.
And now they are going to acquire Pivotal.
And Carbon Black.
With Pivotal, they will also become one of the leading contributors to Cloud Foundry.
Yes.
And with the IBM announcement, we're putting on the OpenShift. So a lot of positive things are happening with Cloud Foundry.
Yeah.
So how does the overall big picture look like for Cloud Foundry with all this consolidation that is happening in the market?
Well, I think consolidation is inevitable, particularly as technologies spread out and foster and grow, and then they consolidate together, and then you'll have it kind of spread out again. And I think we're seeing that natural evolution, and it's fantastic. What we want to see in this industry is really the ability to pull people together to solve problems, but continuously evolve both the community, the ecosystem, and ultimately the technology.
You did not answer my question. What does it mean for Cloud Foundry?
It means that VMware, who's been here since the beginning, is going to continue to be here and continue to invest and support the work that both they've been doing internally as well as the work that Pivotal's been doing. And they get to bring Heptio to the table. And that's exciting to have us all collectively working together to solve where the future of cloud native is going.
Yeah, so I think you just came from the diversity luncheon that was here today.
Which was amazing. The speakers were phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that is incredible with the Linux Foundation and Cloud Foundry specifically, you guys, really do a lot of work. It's not just talking about it, doing a lot of things about it.
We try.
So first of all, why diversity matters in general, and why it matters to Cloud Foundry?
It should matter to everyone, particularly if you're in technology. Technology is becoming a part of everything that we do. And as such, it's impacting everyone's life. Not a small subset of humans, but everyone. Just think about your phone that's in your pocket. What is that now? It's now not a phone anymore. It's your credit card, it's your boarding pass, it's your connection to a car service. It is, the way that you work. For many of us, we do a lot of our work on there. And so think about the long-term ramifications of where technology is going to be. We started to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, and how a lot of applications and processes are going to be automated and driven by that. And if that creation, that development process, and that design process isn't happening by a large and diverse set of the population, we're going to overlook things. Every one of us come to the table with biases and unconscious biases. And it is incumbent on all of us to bring people around the table to help us better understand how to solve a problem from a variety of perspectives. And also for me personally, I don't think you're being that innovative if your people around the table that are designing a product all look and sound the same. Period. I just don't think that's an innovative product. I think you're talking to your echo chamber at that point. And so it is incumbent on all of us, if we're trying to do really innovative work, in which many of us in technology are, and that's our aspiration, you really got to diversify the voices around your table. And that, I think, is where I stand. And that's what I've brought to the table with Cloud Foundry as well. And I've been super blessed with Cloud Foundry Foundation to have a team around me that actually shares those ideals and shares that vision. And we continue to push each other. I don't have all the answers. I deal with my own unconscious biases. And I think it's great to have a team around you that are constantly saying, hey, did you think about it from this perspective? Did you think about the problem this way? Are you sure you thought this all the way through? And that's been super helpful for me personally, but I think it makes the technology better within Cloud Foundry, and it makes our community better.
Action speaks louder than words, So can you talk about, when you look at the keynotes or talks here, how diverse were they?
They were diverse. I think I would have liked. My personality is such that I'm always trying to do better, and I think particularly if you're solving for diversity inclusivity, the goal is never good enough, nor should it be. One of the things I was really excited about this particular event is to have 25% of our talks be led by women. And that may seem like a small percentage. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see it at 50% or 75%.
Don't make it 100%.
Well, I mean, I actually would love to see a hashtag trend one day, men in tech. There's so many women. What's going on?
Yeah.
But I think that, all kidding aside, I'm sure you're going to get like some comments on that one. But I do feel like, we can always do more, but it's been really nice to see a lot of women on stage and in the breakouts showcasing the journey, how the tech works, demoing new things, bringing new innovations to the table, and really pushing us as a collective. And that is super important.
And yeah, it's true. And I said, actually, that's why I wanted to hear, because I do know that, you guys are doing a lot of work in that direction. So it's good to see those numbers. And Abby
and it takes work. I mean,
it's
not like this is just accidental.
It takes actually more work.
It takes a lot more
work. Because a lot of people, they are not comfortable, in just coming. I was talking to Swarna before that. There was somebody who was very new. She gave and it was impressive talk. She was a newcomer.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of effort to because you have to give them confidence and trust.
You have to give someone confidence, but you have to give them the space to work that through, right? And I think we all need that. None of us were born I want to walk on the keynote stage right now. Let's do this. I think I had to go through that, and you have to do it a couple of hundred times, and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually not bad. But you need that exposure, that experience, and most importantly, the support and the mentorship to get there.
Oh, since you're talking about, when you go to stage, VMware's CEO, he always, before his keynote, how he prepares for the keynote, he talks about that. How do you prepare for your keynotes? Do you practice a lot, or it comes naturally to you? Are you nervous? Are you excited to see your people? This is secret, top one. Secret.
It's not top secret, because my team, particularly Devin and Chip are there through the entire, and David are through the whole process, so they understand exactly what goes into this. I do practice it a lot. I practice it with them, and I get feedback from them. I'm like, what is this? Where can I improve? Is this topic, am I landing this right? Should we change the way that I'm framing this? And for me, it's all about working with people that, one, you feel comfortable with, and two, that will actually give you candid feedback. I want to know, that sucks. Or, hey, what is this weird thing you're doing with your arms right now? Don't do that on stage. And so I think having that comfort and that support makes it so much easier for me going on stage. And I think doing it over and over again, you get acclimated and you don't get as nervous. I used to get super nervous. And now I'm just all right, we're here. And, one aspect of that is I have a great support team, and I have all the support I need to get there. And two, we have a great community.
Yeah.
Standing up on stage in a keynote stage in front of this community is not hard because you're like, we're all here together. This is a great place to be. I'm happy to be here. And let's just have fun.
Yeah, because when you look down, like not look down, but your stage is higher. So you see your friends, your colleagues, the people that you hang out with. So there's nothing,
Yeah, it's just like we're talking amongst friends. And
Exactly.
I think I try to remind my team at the beginning of Summit this, but I think we should all practice it a little bit more, is just have fun.
Yes.
Like, this isn't hard. We don't have to make it this hard, and we
Right.
can really make an enjoyable experience with everyone and get more out of it. And for me, it's not just about me giving my talk, which is really setting the tone and the direction,
direction.
but it's more who else can we highlight? We spend a lot of time as a team thinking, who else can we bring to the main stage?
So there's a whole flow of,
Who do we highlight? How do we tell a both comprehensive story that's interconnected, but also really highlight the amazing work that happens in our community by people that don't often get a light shown on them?
That's true, and since I've seen the keynote, so I totally agree with you that that's what is actually happening there. So Abby, once again, thanks for talking to me today, and as usual, I look forward to seeing and talking to you again soon.
Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.